Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed is a spiritual crossing of the threshold to the world of being a truly expanded human being. Join mediums Cheryl and Kelley for conversations about discovering deep spirituality, developing your intuitive and empathic skills, and personal mediumship. Each episode will focus on tips, tools, and techniques to help you understand and expand your own inner gifts of life journey. Now, your host of Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed, Kelley and Cheryl.
Hi, everyone. People are already logging on for our show today. Welcome to Seeing Beyond Living Transformed. This is going to be a great show tonight, and we're so happy that you're joining us. So we already see people logging in. Hello, Teresa and Patricia. We see Anne coming in. Thank you. We have a special show tonight. And another thing is we have a very special co-host tonight. I usually say hi to my colleague, Kelley Eckhart, but she is off in England for a couple of weeks having a wonderful adventure. And we were so lucky to get our co-host for this evening, psychic medium Jeffrey Peck. So for those of you that haven't met Jeffrey, you are in for a great show tonight. Let me say hello to my co-host this evening. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi, Cheryl. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
It's great to have you, Jeffrey. Every time, we just smile so big when we know you're going to be on our show. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And just to tell you a little bit about Jeffrey before we get into tonight's topic, Jeffrey is an amazing psychic medium. He also has his own show on YouTube. So can you just kind of tell us about your show for a moment? It comes on, what day of the week does it come on, Jeffrey?
So I have a show called Something Super Spiritual.
Okay.
And it started out as a podcast last year, and it was available, on all podcast platforms, right? But in November, I kept getting pinged by Spirit. You got to put this on YouTube. You got to put this on YouTube. So after much resistance, I was digging my heels in deep. I'm telling you, I finally put everything on YouTube. So you can watch the show on YouTube as well. And in June, I started doing my own live streaming as well. We meet on Wednesdays and Fridays. Time usually depends on what the guest, if the guest is on the East Coast or even in London, the time's going to have to change for them in London. But yeah, we do live streaming and it's really fun. And we have these conversations and readings and very similar to what you guys are doing, just spreading spirit.
Yeah, thank you. And you have some amazing guests on your show. So I know I've watched some of your episodes and it is truly amazing. And I hope you're lucky enough, Jeffrey, to have some great behind the scene co-hosts, because we have Brianna working behind the scenes with us today. Thank you, Brianna. And
Hi, Brianna.
also, to Todd, he's our producer on WLTK. So thank both of them. We're so lucky to have both of you guys working and helping us with posting and, people's questions. So thank you for being on the show with us tonight, too.
Thank you, guys.
So let's dive into tonight's topic because it's a good one and it can get kind of nitty gritty here. And we'd love to have your input. So if you have any questions, please type them in the comment section. Send us an email if you wish to questions@seeingbeyondradio.com. Our topic for this evening, it's about debunking the myths, the Hollywood myths surrounding psychic mediumship. What are they saying about psychics and mediums? And is it something to be scared about? And are movies really portraying us in the best light? And what can we share with you this evening to help you kind of, untie or unpack some of those myths that we get asked a lot? So, Jeffrey, I guess I want to start and ask you a question. A lot of times I get asked this a lot, and maybe you do too, about just in general, people want to know, is a phone reading as good as an in-person reading? This could be a debunk thing we could help people with because they think, oh no, by phone, it's not going to be as good, or by Zoom. But what can you add to that, please? What can we help with?
100%. Phone readings, Zoom readings, they're no different. We don't need to be in your exact space, because the truth of the matter is spirit is all over everywhere, right? Spirit is everywhere. There's no time and space where they exist. That's for us. That's for our purposes here in the 3D world. And when the two of us are coming together, whether it's on the phone or on Zoom, by that intention alone, our teams in spirit, our loved ones, they already know what we're doing. They're getting together up there, collaborating in whatever way they need to. Yeah, it's truly, it's no difference. I honestly prefer Zoom, because for me, it helps me keep my own ego in check. It helps me keep my thoughts about anything on the shelf, so that I can maintain contact with that link in spirit, I can maintain contact with the soul communication that's happening. And when I'm in person, if I accidentally see body movement that I might judge as, they're not happy, or I just said something dumb, or I can spiral right out of my connection. So
I hear you. And same for the person coming for the reading. They don't have to do the driving. They don't have to wait in traffic. They don't have to rush to be there on time. So they're hurried, so to speak, like they are coming, usually from their office or the comfort of their own home to have a reading with us on Zoom or by phone. So I believe in that way they're more relaxed. It's just a more relaxing setting, which is absolutely what spirit wants.
Totally. And it is that when you're in your own space, you're in your own place, both of us, the sitter and us as
both of us
mediums. Yeah. It makes it so much more easier for that clarity.
I hear you. And just to say hi to some people logging on, because it's really, the scroll is just going off the charts with you being here, Jeffrey. I got to tell you, medium Kelley Eckhart is actually watching us.
Kelley!
Which we know, Kelley, it is in the AM, the wee hours of the AM over where you are.
Sure is.
You are, I believe, 8 hours ahead. So hello. We are so happy that Kelley's joining us. Hi, Kelley. And Kelley, if you have a question that you want to help us answer, type in a question about debunking Hollywood myths. And look, another thing I want to share with people is, it is Hollywood. When you go see a Hollywood movie about psychics and mediums and intuition, they do have to have a dramatic effect to it, right? Just to have you in the theater to get you to come in. So, all the scariness, I just want to say some of that is Hollywood, or a lot. I would say all the scariness is the Hollywood part. All the loving part is more than likely almost accurate. It's like, I'm sure there are stories behind it, but don't let Hollywood scare anyone. Believe me, because I know, just talking to Jeffrey outside of the show, Jeffrey and I always have great discussions on how intelligent the universe is, how, loving they are, that they're only here to support us.
Yeah.
Right, Jeff?
Yeah. There's personally, I mean, I've loved all those shows from Patricia Arquette's Medium.
Yes.
The show, James Van Praagh, I think, produced that, or was part of that.
Yeah.
And, I loved all of that. I loved the show with Jennifer Love Hewitt, Ghost.
Oh, I love Ghost Whisperer.
Ghost Whisperer, yeah.
Yes.
I loved all of that.
That's the one that James helped with. Yeah. So
That's
he
the
probably
one.
helped with
Right.
both of them.
I got them mixed up. So
Yeah.
But I truly love all of that, and it's inspiring. As Cheryl and I were talking before, one of the things that I get asked often as well, do you see all these ghosts walking around town, like they do on all the shows, on the movies? Yeah, no. I mean, no, I'm not saying that nobody does. I'm sure somebody does somewhere. I'm sure it's a thing for somebody who's really wide open objectively, right?
Right.
But that's just not my experience. So
I mean, we're not working 24/7, so to speak,
No.
and I know we take our work seriously, and it does take, it is work, it means an energy that we're opening up to, an awareness. And it is about being aware of the power of the spirit world and their love. And we do it we surrender to it. It's our vocation. We love doing it, but we, like anyone, we don't work 24/7. So I don't believe that either. I don't believe we see spirits 24/7 because we're kind of on our own time doing our own thing at that time.
Yeah, when
Yeah, we
we're
still have to be human. That's what Teresa's saying. We still
yeah,
have to be human.
totally. We have to live our own lives, and for us, when we're connecting with the spirit world, there's a shift in our awareness.
Mhm.
And when we're living our own life and we're answering emails or texting our friends or driving, wherever, we have to pay attention. And there's that shift that takes place when we're sitting here with that intention of connecting for you.
That's
Um,
right.
there are times when I have been out or in my early days and I hadn't quite truly like figured out how to shut myself off. I
Mhm.
hadn't quite figured out how to manage that correctly. And there have been times where I've really felt the energy in a way that, it made me anxious.
Mm.
It made me anxious. And after realizing what was going on, I was like, I get it. And then,
Yes,
I immediately just like whoop,
I agree.
close myself right up.
So look, if you remember, Jeffrey, there's a movie from a while back, What Dreams May Come.
Oh,
It
one of my favorites.
isn't it Robin Williams? We love Robin. Um, um, just the young man, I just forgot his name. Uh,
Robin Williams?
no, not Robin Williams, the other gentleman in the movie. But anyway, What Dreams May Come.
Cuba
So
Gooding.
yes, thank you. Thank you. And that's who I wanted to say, Cuba Gooding Jr. What an
Mhm.
amazing actor. And just a lovely cast. And, there's a lot of that movie that is so beautiful, when they see the vibrant colors in
Yeah.
heaven, or when they're reuniting with their animals and their loved ones, and they go back to being children again, the Robin Williams and his wife. I mean, that part of the spirit world, or telling that story, is a beautiful, that I can agree with that. What I believe Jeffrey and I are trying to kind of come at is the parts that are scary, or the hell scenes in there that were, dark, or I mean, all of that is the Hollywood part of a movie. And when you work more with spirit, you realize that there is no hell, that hell is man-made, or that you realize that there's a divine love and unconditional love out there for everyone, and no one gets lost or stuck. I don't believe so anyway. So I just feel like every soul is, cared for and nurtured. So just wanted to hand that to you.
I agree. I don't have the experience either where people are stuck or lost, or I, I'm not, I'm not, I can't fully like negate it because I think some people truly do experience that,
Hmm.
but I just haven't. So
Agreed.
I still have questions because I mean, from the very beginning of my opening in 2006, I have questioned and questioned and questioned, and my healthy skeptic has questioned. And if we all have guides and guardians, spirit guides, loved ones that are over there waiting for us, where are they, and why are they why how can we be stuck? Why aren't they coming to help us? I
Hmm.
mean, that's my question.
And what an honest answer and remark you just made, Jeffrey, about look, these are our opinions on today's show, and we are students in some way still about our own development and spirituality, and rightfully so. I mean, we always want to be better. We always want to learn more and deepen our level of understanding with our own abilities. And,
Yeah.
so it is good to know that we're students, and that, a year from now, we may have a different perspective or a different idea on how we're answering these questions, right? But it is
Mhm.
about finding our own truth, and knowing that we feel comfortable sharing this information because it is through our experience.
Yeah.
Because we've experienced this stuff.
Yeah, completely. And it's so beautiful to have a space and a forum to have these conversations
Yeah.
and really like share amongst ourselves. It's really, I love it.
Another myth is that this is an interesting myth. Like, science doesn't care about mediumship or psychics. Like, science isn't involved. Like, they don't believe in it. And I'm And I believe it's like au contraire. It is really the reverse. It's metaphysics are a big field right now. Physics are kind of catching up to
Yeah,
mediumship and psychics. Would you agree? Yeah.
absolutely. The work of Dr. Gary Schwartz at the
Mm,
University of Arizona, his phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. There are so many PhDs, physicists, scientists, researchers that are truly doing the work, that scientific work, right?
mm,
They take us as mediums and we're blindfolded 5 different ways and
yeah.
they're truly studying. They know without a doubt something is happening
Mhm.
when it's a triple blind, quadruple blind, however many blind, whatever they do, when the answers are really making sense to that person 5 people down the way, they know something's happening. But I think the actual connection part, they don't know how it's happening, but they think there's something happening. And I love that there are people out there doing all of that work. I think it's just beautiful.
I just met a few doctors when I was in England about working with trance mediumship and using the altered states, and they're measuring, all the brain waves, realizing that when they are connecting and giving someone a reading, that they are in an altered state, and it's more about the subconscious, helping or resting. It really is what you and I do, Jeffrey, as mediums and psychics, is we set the mind or the ego, we set the mind to the side, right? We are egoless. We are working more from a heart energy. We're working more from setting the intention of healing or, connecting with the survival of soul consciousness on the other side.
Yes.
So it really is that really does open the doorway. And I'm just thrilled to death that they're studying, that science is coming up, because it's always been there. It's just more of a conversation now. Now we're really seeing it becoming more mainstream.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. The work that Oxford is doing, that
Mhm.
Cambridge is doing, the psychic studies, the British Psychic Institute, I think it's the Oxford, they've been around since like 1887 or something. So think like that's like almost 150 years, right?
Yeah.
140 years. But think of how much they have learned over the years. And it just really makes me wonder. It's fascinating to me because think about what's changed now in this period versus 125 years ago.
Right.
The equipment has changed.
Oh, it's
We
so
can
true.
we can
Technology.
see, yeah, we can see all the different spectrums of light and
Mm,
energy, and
mm.
we're seeing it all here within the brain activity and the brain waves. So yeah, I think it's just fascinating.
Yeah, it's a good question. So, for anyone, if you want to type in a question you have for us, we would love to read your questions. And we'll be doing some readings in just a little bit. About halfway through the show, we'll start our readings. But we really wanted to share with you some information that is really, we get asked this question a lot about the spirit world, and it's through our experience. And another question that I hear a lot is, are psychics and mediums the same? Because a lot of people think they're the same thing. And, I feel like we are the same thing. We come from the same, intention. And I think there's a lot of overlap there. I do feel that. But I just want to say psychics are more about working with the living. We'll say they're working more with the person in front of them about current life situations or crossroads or career choices, and mediumship is more about being the medium, literally being the go-between, the medium between the physical realm and the spirit realm, right? So we really are that medium, and we get our information through our psychic senses, which are the clairvoyance, the clairaudience, the clairsentience, and many more. But that's how we receive the information. But we are, and we give information that makes sense, as you said, Jeffrey. It makes sense to the person we're helping. It sounds like that person, that's their departed loved one, right?
Yes.
With that information.
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. The psychic connection is that between us
Yeah.
and the soul in front of us,
Yeah.
right? And and Many times somebody might think they're a medium, but they're actually getting information out of the auric field of the sitter in front of them, the memories that they might hold of that person in spirit. And the difference is with the mediumship, we are literally connecting with that person directly, right? We're using all of our psychic senses to connect with that person. I have a really interesting story to talk about that. Do you mind if I share?
No, I'd love to hear that.
So early on, I was doing this reading for this gal, and I had her father-in-law. And this man told me a lot about who he was, what he did. She knew exactly who we had. This man was a construction worker. He showed me his knee pads, his tools, his houses that he built, all this stuff. And all of a sudden, he wanted me to talk about the marshmallows and how important the marshmallows were.
Okay.
And she goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. And it was early on, so I just naturally thought I was wrong. And I said, okay, well, let's just carry on. And I carried on a little bit more. And all of a sudden, I got that talk about the marshmallow. So here I am. And I'm like, I got to go back to the marshmallows. He really wants me to talk about the marshmallows because that memory means so much to him. She goes, yeah, I don't know. I said, you know what? Will you please talk to your husband? 2 days later, I get an email from her, and her husband, when he was a child, his father would take him every Thursday to the rugby games. And on the way, they would stop at the candy store and they would always get marshmallows.
Oh my gosh.
So that right there was a huge lesson for me that I was getting it from him in spirit, right? Because it was nowhere to be found in her energy. and that's just like, it's really beautiful.
That's a beautiful way to get confirmation too, because the sitter, she couldn't understand the information, but she went and researched it or found out through her family members.
Yeah.
So that's really true mediumship there, right? Yeah. Yes. So everyone, please type in your questions, and thank you all for joining us. Let's go ahead and say hi to some of our listeners tonight. We love having all of you on, but Jeffrey, if you'll help me, let's just say hi to Janet and Judy, and hi, and Celtic Tarot. Hello. Hi, Patricia. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Brenda. Great to see you. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Sue.
Kevin.
Yep. Yay.
Janet, Kristen, Sheila. Oh, isn't this fun?
It's so nice. And, a reason why we have our show, and Jeffrey has his show on YouTube, is really building that community, building a community of high vibration, of realizing that, we can share this information. Well, from what we've learned, we can teach at the same time. We can help you understand if you have questions, because we really do want to all kind of realize that it is a natural ability to develop your mediumship or your psychic ability. That's another thing, Jeffrey. Is this a natural ability? Can people learn to be a psychic and medium, or only certain people are and not everybody else is? What do you think?
It is not only certain people. Fundamentally, first and foremost, we are all spiritual beings living in a body here on this earth. We are all wired to spirit. And we all have those little nudges. We have those intuitive hits. We've all experienced thinking about somebody and the phone ringing, and it's them. We all have experienced all of those little synchronicities, right? At one time or another. That is our spiritual sense. And we've all got it. So some of us are just a little bit more innately tuned and sensitive. It's much like, a professional basketball player. I could never play basketball, but if I wanted to bounce a ball on the court, I could. Let's be clear. It wouldn't be pretty, but I could. But yes, we all have this ability, 100%.
Oh, it's so funny. And it's so true though, because I use that piano example. Like, everyone can learn how to play the piano, but some people are just naturally gifted at it, or naturally good at it, or pick it up faster. And I always want to say being a psychic and a medium, it's really about developing and practice, 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 and using that intuitive muscle, right? If we all have that muscle, if you think about going to the gym and building your physical muscles, well, now you're using your spiritual muscle, your intuitive muscle to gain that psychic awareness or that mediumship awareness. So I think anyone can learn, anyone that is motivated, or I always say, come with an open mind and an open heart, right?
Mhm.
Just, show up has a lot to do with it, right?
Totally. You know what? Show up and show up without expectations or demands.
Even
And
better.
and I say that because guess who did? Like I had friends who were naturally very clairaudient, and I never really experienced hearing spirit, hearing voices, I have people that they tell me they hear objectively, right? I haven't. That some hear somebody else's tone of voice inside their head. I haven't. So I just thought that's just not me. But I learned through my development that I just experience it a little bit differently. For me, these words just plop into my head, and I just know, and even a paragraph will pop into my head. That's
Wow.
how I learned my clairaudience operates in that way. So please come without expectations or demands, because we're all a little bit different.
Um, you know, um, let's I just want to say I have so many good things to say about what you just commented on. And but let's read this from Denise Lynn. She says, "Hi, I'm very sensitive. I receive messages all the time, but I do it just for fun, you know? She does it just for fun. And I think that's a great way to approach it, right?
Yes.
Because there's no judging. That's what I wanted to say. If you want to block your gift or block from learning, please don't be hard on yourself or compare yourself or judge yourself, because you know what? Your energy is opening, spirit is working with you. And I'm loving what Denise said, because it is about fun. It is about that energy of fun and laughter, right? And surprises and imagination. I love it, Denise. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for that. I was just having this conversation earlier today, and it's really so much easier when we come from the space of our childlike self, with that childlike wonder and that
Oh,
childlike curiosity. Children at the age of 3 and 4 and 5, they're wide open, right? Because they have no judgment, they have no fear. They're getting what they get because they're just all, ooh, this is fun, and they've got
yeah.
imaginary friends all over the place. But then, we go through life and we experience doubt, and we
Mm,
experience shame and fear, and the fear of being wrong or looking dumb or being pointed out and laughed at. You know what I'm saying? So
mm.
this fear just kind of sets in, and when we can really set that aside and come from that pure space of joy within,
Yeah.
it's fun. That's
It's
when
the
it's fun.
best, and it's a rush, right? It's like a
Mhm.
natural high. It's a rush to connect with, your own intuition and the spirit world, and with the intention of helping someone. Jeffrey and I and Kelley, Brianna and Todd, we're all in the service. We're all here to serve, right? How can we serve? And when we come with that, like you said, no expectations. Let's just see what happens. Let's see who comes through. It can be the most beautiful synchronicity of events and
Oof,
healing for the person getting the messages. Big time.
hugely.
Yeah.
And that's the most important part. That's the
Mhm.
most miraculous, beautiful, magnificent piece in all of this, is that healing and that connection, inspiring hope in somebody who just feels despair in grief,
Oh, yeah.
inspiring curiosity of their own spirit and their own connection when they might have questioned and thought, is that real? Well,
Mhm.
guess what? It's real, you know? And yeah, that's the best part.
It is the best part. And people are still wondering about the power of prayer. Is the power of prayer worked? Is that even real? And
Mm.
when you can start stepping into reading all the science, results, and believing that people are healing, when everyone's saying, if that's energy, right? That's energy. Then I do believe, if you can believe that, and understand that that's possible. That's all you have to do. Just open that door of it's possible. The floodgates will open for you around your psychic, your mediumship, because that too is energy. And that too has an intention, and that there is a need, and then therefore the energy flows. And what Jeffrey and I do is we step out of the way and we let the spirit world come through. Yeah.
I love what you said about the power of prayer, because it is very real.
Mhm.
And here's the thing, we are here in this life. We are
Mhm.
all here as co-creators together. And a lot of people have questioned, well, why should I pray if, that this isn't happening, this isn't happening? We're all here to participate. And when enough of us participate, I don't know, do you know the book, The Intention Experiment by Lynn McTaggart?
No.
She did these experiments with intention, and got everybody into meditation and focused on one particular area on the globe. And the scientists, the researchers that were studying all of this, saw a decline in crime.
Oh,
And it's absolutely fascinating.
I love it.
And so again, talking about more sciencey people, that are doing their thing. Yeah, they're recognizing that we are so powerful,
We are powerful.
and we are so much stronger together.
Mhm.
So when we all come together and focus on whatever that intention might be, whether it's a prayer for healing or a prayer for a surgery to go well, or a prayer, so often we pray for things that we feel we need, right? Things that we feel like we're lacking. But if we can shift that around from an ego prayer to a soulful prayer, that's where the magic happens.
I love it. Soulful prayer. So I hope everyone's listening to that. That was really good, going from an ego prayer to a soulful prayer. So that right there is why you're on our show, Jeffrey.
Oh, thank you.
Look, I want to ask you, we're going to put up Patricia's comment in just a moment about, because she says, Jeffrey, we became conditioned how to think we're separate from ourselves. So she's like, we became conditioned how to think we're separate from ourselves. It's about connecting to your raw self. Love your rawness to the fullest. Your happiness is there.
Patricia, you said a mouthful. Amen.
If we could take you, Patricia, and bottle it, that would be
Yeah.
that would be it. And share that with the world.
We were conditioned. And
Mhm.
as human beings, we do come in with an ego, and the ego identifies individually, right? The
Mhm.
ego identifies separate. And I think that's a big reason why we're here, to truly recognize the illusion in all of that,
Mhm.
and see the oneness that we all are. All
Mhm.
of us, and the animals and the earth and nature, and the oneness with spirit, all at the same time. We're all connected.
Yeah, yeah. We're moving that direction too, with the fifth
Mhm.
dimension and the higher frequencies. But I want to recommend a book, or at least I want to ask you if you've heard of this book, Jeffrey, because I'm going to look at your book that you mentioned. Have
Okay.
you heard of a book called The Hidden Messages of Water by Dr. Emoto?
Yes,
Oh my gosh.
that is fascinating. And honestly, it makes all the sense in the world.
Hmm.
It makes all the sense in the world, knowing how powerful we are with our thoughts, and to see those water molecules shifting based on what word, whether it's love or hate or gratitude or ugly or mean or loving, oh my gosh. And take it again, more sciencey people doing their thing. Thank you, sciencey people.
Definitely. And that I learned about Dr. Emoto from a movie, by the way, called What the Bleep Do We Know?
Oh,
Right? It was
yes.
called
Yep.
What the Bleep Do We Know? It came out years ago. It's available to watch. And Dr. Emoto took some water droplets for people who don't know who he is. And he has a few books out now. But he would have monks pray over these water crystals, as you mentioned, and then he would magnify them several hundreds times, and they would be a beautiful snowflake, right? It would just be the most pristine photograph you've ever
Mm.
seen. He has all these pictures in this book. And then he would put some water by, an area, a sewer, or, an angry, situation, or, just a dark area perhaps, and then he would magnify that. And it had the dark or the dirt in it. It just didn't look healthy. It wasn't a beautiful blossoming snowflake, so to speak, or crystal. It was not the same shape. It wasn't, the symmetry of it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And he did this several times with different, many, many experiments. So it really does show you that what Dr. Wayne Dyer says about when you grab a glass of water or on your, infuse it with your hands and infuse that water that you're drinking with love and with gratitude and appreciation, because you are manifesting. We are energy beings, right? We're energy
Yeah.
beings. We're fusing everything that goes in us, right? Everything in us, around us, and through us.
And another point that I absolutely love that he made, as human beings, our bodies are what, 65, 70% water?
Oh, they are.
So if we have negative self-speak, the same thing is happening to our cells that he was proving happens to the water molecules. So it's so important to remember. And let's be honest, I mean, bad days can be bad days, and we can spiral, we can just spiral.
Right.
But to really that's okay. But to recognize that's happening and to pull yourself out. And for me, pulling myself out, I have to start with gratitude. And it could be just, I'm thankful for this water that I'm drinking.
Yeah.
Just something easy, because at that point, sometimes it's really hard to remember what you're grateful for, if you're in a really bad space. But yeah, that was a really great point that he made, how our thoughts will affect our bodies.
Yeah. So really be kind to yourself, everyone. And it is about being kind to ourselves first, and then we have plenty to share with everyone. So, well, this is great. Look, let's get into some readings now, Jeffrey, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
I'd love to invite everyone to, in the comments section, we're going to read these aloud. We're not going to have anyone backstage with the time we have left, but we would love to answer a question if you have for Jeffrey and I. Will tune in. So please write in the comments section your questions. And Brianna, if there's any that we need to know about, please that you can look at them too, or any from our emails. So we'll be checking our email questions too as well. But let me just do this from Maria. Maria asked a question. I think this is kind of cool. Maria asked, I always see water in shape of hearts. I get the feeling that they're from my loved ones always. Am I correct? Thoughts, Jeffrey?
I'm going to say yes. If you're having that feeling, you're having that feeling for a reason. You're feeling their pings, you're feeling their nudges. And if that heart gets you to think about your loved ones in spirit, it is absolutely them. Because here's the deal, Maria. We are fully connected, 100% heart to heart. That love that is unbreakable, undeniable, and it is never going anywhere. The minute we think of them, boom, they're there. The minute they think of us, boom, maybe that's when you're looking at that heart. And the fact that you're asking the question, yes, and yes.
And you know what's great about her question, Jeffrey, is Maria, and I see water. I mean, I see hearts too, and I'm seeing them like, once you're aware of it, you start seeing them in the funniest places. Like I see them in the concrete, like there's a divot in the concrete that looks like a heart, or a piece of oil in my pan, it starts turning into a heart shape. And I just want to take a picture of it, it's just the neatest thing to start seeing hearts everywhere. I fully know that that's your loved one. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you wrote that and shared that with us, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, great. There's so many questions coming in, and let's see if we can't. Let's see, Angie Webb. So Angie Webb is asking, should I buy my friend's house, or will it cost too much to fix? We're going to tune into your question, Angie, about should I buy my friend's house or will it cost too much to fix? And then I think we're just going to stay here and answer a couple of more questions. I feel like I have a list of questions right here, so I'm good right now. Jeffrey, do you want to take that away, or do you want me to start, or how would you like to go with that? What are you picking up?
I'm picking up a yes and. I'm picking up a yes and. I'm feeling like it feels like a great investment to me. It feels like there is, and I'll show you what I just pulled before having this discussion. But I feel like it's a great investment. I feel like that the repairs are going to be more than you may anticipate. But it feels to me that the return is going to be so much worth it at the end of the day. So I want to encourage you, go into this intelligently. Make sure that you obviously can afford the payments, the insurance, the repairs, and extra, as repairs always are a little bit more than we want. But it really feels like that the end game is going to have a really big piece for you. And this is the card that came up.
Oh, abundance.
Yeah.
It's the abundance card.
Yeah. So I want you to go into it cautiously, but I think it feels right.
That's lovely. And Angie, it felt to me to be such a special house. I just felt like, wow, this is one of those one of a kind houses, So yeah, I agree with Jeffrey on that. Let's answer a question. So Angie, we hope that was helpful. Please let us know in the comments section. But we do want to answer a question from Denise Lind. She says her daughter got into some trouble. Will it turn out okay? And then Bobby, we're going to come to you after that. But Denise, my daughter got into some trouble. Will it turn out to be okay? What is Jeffrey tuning in on that one?
I feel like it is going to be okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's going to not be easy for her. And this is a great period of growth. So I want to encourage patience with you, Denise, and extra love through this period. But the reason I feel like it's going to be okay is because it feels to me like there are some real supersized lessons that are coming with this choice. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And she said she feels that too. That's great. Definitely, Denise, this feels like a growing pains or, growing lesson for your daughter. And definitely there are some decisions to make and that she might have an either or choice. So she may have to make a choice between a decision between two choices. But look, this is one where, I would just encourage her to take the higher road. Take the time to think about things. But it is a big moment for her. And I do believe, if we try to understand the lessons learned, then there's always growth, Thank you, Denise. I'm so glad that resonates with you.
Thanks, Denise.
And let's take a question from Bobby Molina. When I see coins on the ground, I think it's my dad. Should I pick them up off the ground or leave them on the ground?
Ooh, it's a great question.
That's a good question. I've never been asked that. Should I leave them on the ground?
I love this question because, okay. Yes. If you're thinking it's your dad, I'm going to say yes again, because the fact that coin is giving you a moment to pause and go, yes, he's right there thinking about you too. He's right there with you. What I love extra about this, should I pick it up or leave it there? Yeah. That could be your own little way of hearing their guidance. Like the next person has somebody in spirit that's trying to get them to notice that coin as well. So it's a twofer.
Two for Bobby. You're probably very intuitive in your own right, Bobby.
Yeah.
That's what I'm definitely picking up is I think you're probably, you're connecting with the other side. And look, I would say definitely pick up the coin and look at the date. Look at
Ooh.
the date I picked up a coin and it was my father's, birth date or whatever that important date was. I looked it up and I was just thinking about my father. I was just like talking to him, as I pull into the parking lot, and sure enough, there's a coin with a significant date on it. So really do that. And then, as Jeffrey said, ask your guides and angels, should I leave this? I think that's so fun. Great. It's a way to open up your
Oh,
intuition.
totally. It
Great,
really is. It's awesome.
great practice. So, Bobby, please let us know if that resonates with you. We would love to hear about that, Bobby. And thank you for asking. What a great question. Oh, I never thought of that. Thank you. Awesome. Let's take another question. I'm so glad you're with us tonight, Jeffrey. We are just really able to answer a lot of people and help a lot of people out. We so appreciate your questions. Let's take something from Mrs. D. Mrs. D says, I'm at a crossroads. Should I move to Pennsylvania or Oregon? Mrs. D. Thanks for being on our show today, Mrs. D. Give it a minute here. What are you feeling, Jeffrey?
I'm trying to understand why. So that's where I'm kind of like missing something on my insides. But I'm feeling a pull to Oregon. And what are you feeling?
I felt actually down. So wherever, I'm not even sure where you live right now, Mrs. D, but I felt more Pennsylvania at this point because I heard down. So I guess it really, what state are you in, Mrs. D, if you can let us know? So I felt that. I like both places for you. And but I felt somewhere south of where she lives. So that's why I just felt she lived like Midwest North. Maybe she is not on the call yet, or we'll take a moment to hear. But so you felt Oregon. Well, why did you feel Oregon? And
I
then
feel I feel bigger love there.
California.
I
Okay.
feel like more heart-centered.
Mm,
It's hard to describe. Does that make
yeah.
sense to you, Mrs. D? Oh, she's in California.
Yeah. So you felt more heart-centered and
Yeah, I feel this more heart-centered
yeah, like,
love vibe.
oh, good. Well, we'll wait to hear from her. Mrs. D, do you have loved ones there? Have you lived there before? You have fond memories? That would maybe be a follow-up question that Jeffrey has for you. Yeah, Oregon. Other people are saying they like Oregon too, Jeffrey, for her. So just to tell you, you
Surveys.
guys are winning this one out. So look, we have to go on to Maria Ann, but we'll wait for you still, Mrs. D. But Maria Ann is asking, should I buy a trailer and replace mine or buy a house and move? Maria Ann, should I buy a trailer and replace mine? So it's either trailer or house.
You know what? I have to be totally honest here. I'm having a very difficult time with this question psychically and connecting wise because I was in the real estate and mortgage business
Oh, were you?
for 10 years from 2000 to 2010.
Okay.
And my immediate answer was if you absolutely can afford the house safely, buy the house. It is
Yeah.
a much better investment. So what do you think, Cheryl? I mean, like that's pragmatic, like
Yeah.
real estate advice. I don't know if where I'm getting that from though.
Well, my feeling for Maria, I'll tell you, I got the house too, but I got it for different reasons. I felt, Maria Ann, about being grounded. It's like anchoring your energy. And that's why living in a home or, is for me, how I picked it up for you is like stability. That's what I felt. And that sounds like what Jeffrey got too, but in his way. But that's what I felt. So I hope that helped, Maria. That's a great
Yeah,
question
that's a
again.
really great question. I really hope that helped too.
Yeah. And look, before we take any more questions, I just want to share with everyone Jeffrey's website. And your website is jeffreypeckmedium.com?
JeffreyPeck.com. Yep.
Jeffreypeck.com. Thank you.
JeffreyPeck.com. And I am found on all social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever else I'm missing, at Jeffrey Peck Medium. There's so many now. At Jeffrey Peck Medium on
And
YouTube.
that's awesome. And look, do you have any events coming up or anything that you want to announce here? We can do it here if you want.
You know what? My events really right now are just me with the live streams
I love it.
and with the show and getting that out there and getting more people in front of more people's eyes and ears.
Yeah.
And it's really fun because something shifted in my cosmos in the last month. And I'm getting messages almost daily from people thanking me for the guests, thanking me for the conversations, and the numbers have gone up by 4 times, which is like, what is happening? Like, it's just like out of nowhere. And I thought, what did I do differently?
You're a super attractor, and the people need it. The people are looking for these
Wow.
answers, Jeffrey. So you
Thank
must be helping a lot of people.
Yeah, that's my mission. I just want to scream it from a mountaintop how the reality of spirit is so amazing for every single one of us. And I just want to share all of my spiritual friends with everybody. So the show is my mountaintop, and that's my event right now. It's an ongoing event.
Oh, it's great. That's wonderful. And just to share with everyone, I have my healing prayer circle on Wednesdays. And as many of you know, and it's free to join, it's online I'm sorry, did I say Wednesdays? I meant to say Sundays. My healing prayer circle, my radio show's on Wednesdays. My healing prayer circle is on Sundays, every Sunday at 6 p.m. It's called the Healing Prayer Circle. You can join through my website at mediumcheryl.com. It's lovely. It's online. It's a beautiful high vibe community. And I want to share this with you because this Sunday, August 6th, I have a special guest on, and it will be Mr. Jeffrey Peck. So, I get to sit with Jeffrey twice this week. So I'm already feeling the excitement. I've already been sharing with my healing prayer circle, Jeffrey. And really, it's a great topic this Sunday. So for everyone watching, Jeffrey's going to help us really connect to our spirit guides, right? We're going to do a spirit guide meditation, maybe, if I can, ask you to do that and share with us, because
I would love that. Yes.
So many people want to know more about spirit guides. So that's for everyone. You can join the Healing Prayer Circle on my website, mediumcheryl.com. Just type in join the HPC. And thank you, Brianna, for putting the link in the toolbar below. And also, just to share with everyone before we go, we'll do a couple more readings here, but I want to share with you, if you are available August 29th online, I am doing a wonderful healing event with Thomas John. So it's called an Evening of Healing Messages with Medium Thomas John. That will be online August 29th. August 29th. I know, it's so special. So I'd love to see all of you there. We'll do as many readings as we can. It's a 2-hour event. So we'll be doing a lot of readings, as many as we can during that time. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Jeffrey, for that. And thank you, everyone. So let's take some more questions. We still have time, and we wish we could answer all of them for you. But let me just say, Linda Burgess is asking, she says, years ago, I was certified as a Reiki master. Over the years, it seems like the energy from me has diminished. Is this true? And what can I do? Thank you so much. Well, I know if I ask Jeffrey, which I'm going to do, Jeffrey, you answer this one because I think this is your field here. This is
Linda,
your corner.
I am going to say no, it absolutely has not diminished. What I think happens when a decade goes by and we kind of let it fall to the side, it's always running. It's always running. That we have that conscious connection since the attunements, right? But I think we start to get so used to it. I think that we start to get so used to it that it doesn't feel like it felt at the beginning, right? I would really like to encourage you to start working on yourself again. For instance, after my first weekend of level 1, my Reiki master asked me to sit with myself every day for 30 days for an hour and give myself a treatment. Remember the hand positions for our personal treatments? I want to encourage you to do that. And I guarantee you'll start to recognize that feeling again. You'll recognize that flow. The information that is within your field is going to start flowing through. You're going to start feeling your guides and hearing them more clearly. It's all connected. I truly understand what you're talking about. But no, it has not diminished. And you can get it back in a flash.
I just want to say that that felt so true because Linda, it feels like you stepping back into even a higher vibration. So maybe it's that you're not recognizing it because it's an older, maybe you're still thinking or remembering something from before. It's a whole new vibe out there. So definitely agreed with Jeffrey. Please, Linda, just go right back in. Let us know how you're doing. Okay. So reach out to us again. Okay.
Yeah, please do. And if you have any questions, Linda, feel free to DM me. Yeah, I'd be happy to answer any questions through this process for you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for asking such a great question, and wonderful to hear about you being a certified Reiki master. Thank you for the work that you do as well, Linda. So let's circle back around, Jeffrey, because Mrs. D has chimed in and she says that her children are in Oregon. Oh, and in Pennsylvania. They're in both places. Oh, well, that makes it even more tough, right? Where do I put my children now are in 2 different places. Oh, Mrs. D. Well, oh goodness dear. Because at one point in that reading, I'm like, I feel like she might be living at both places. Like, why is it either or? It could be and,
Ooh. That's a great point.
I know it'd be a lot, but Mrs. D. Well, I mean, those are 2 very good reasons and quite challenging.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, look, Mrs. D, thank you for getting back with us, and we hope that was helpful. Let's do another question before we leave tonight. And I just want to encourage everyone, please join the mailing list for our radio show. It's seeingbeyondradio.com. You can go there and sign up for our mailing list, watch all of our replays. Also for Medium Kelley, check out mediumkelley.com. Join her mailing list as well. Medium Kelley is out having an adventure that she's going to be sharing with us when she gets back. But she's across the pond, as they say, in England. But let's tune in, Jeffrey. And before we take this last question, Jeffrey, I do want to thank you for being on our show tonight. Just putting that back out there, okay?
Thank you.
So let's go to Gerlinda Debbie. Should I leave my caregiving job? Gerlinda I think it's Gerlinda Debbie. Should I leave my caregiving job? Should I leave my caregiving job?
Well, first of all, I want to say you have a beautiful name. Secondly, I'm not feeling breaking up with the job. I'm not feeling leaving. I'm feeling a break. I'm feeling like vacation, like a real honest to God break. I feel, how can I say, I feel burnt out. I feel tired. I feel mentally exhausted, emotionally exhausted. Is this right, Gerlind?
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that too. I'm like, oh my God, you've probably been thinking about leaving this job for a while now. And I can feel the exhaustion. Both Jeffrey and I feel that. But I didn't feel to be a yes to that answer either. I heard no, not now.
Yeah.
but later, like, a year from now or later. But this is about definitely taking a break or doing, having your own time or a sabbatical of some time or an extended vacation. Yeah, she says, yes, thank you.
Yeah. If that's possible, Gerlind, I highly would encourage that. If it's not possible, I really would like to encourage real self-care, like where you are getting in a tub of salt and crystals and flower petals and aromatherapy. I mean, really going
Yeah.
to the max in that self-care and clearing your energy, clearing your space, and really finding yourself back in your own center.
Yeah, that self-care is so important. So please keep in touch with us, Gerlind, and let us know how you're doing. And for everyone, your questions are phenomenal. Please keep sending them to our mailing address, which is questions@seeingbeyondradio.com. If we didn't answer them this week, we'll certainly try to get to them in an upcoming show. I do want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We are at the close of our program, but thank you again so much, Jeffrey. It's just a joy, and your knowledge base and the way you can help people, it's just such a light. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me. I just
Oh,
love being here.
yeah, you're welcome. And for everyone listening, thank you again so much. Be kind to yourself. If you are available this Sunday night, you'll see me and Jeffrey again on my Healing Prayer Circle. Sign up for that on my website. It's free to join, mediumcheryl.com. And thank you again for joining us tonight and being a great audience for us. You've been watching Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed. We'll see you again next Wednesday. Namaste, everyone.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.